Good evening. Time is now 7:09. Does everybody have a change so you all have the green ballot? Anybody not have the green ballot? Okay, thank you. Time is 7:09. I'd like to call this town meeting to order and ask that the town clerk please read the town meeting warning.
The electors and citizens qualified to vote at town meetings in the town of Plainfield are hereby warned to meet at Plainfield Town Hall, 8 Community Avenue, Plainfield, Connecticut, on Wednesday, December 4th at 7 p.m. for the following purposes. Item 1. Shall the town of Plainfield authorize the approval of the receipt of DCCIF grant monies for $250,000 for recreational organization? Item 2. Shall the town of Plainfield authorize the expenditures of $131,000 from the fund balance to be placed into contingencies line of the 2024-2025 town budget? Item 3. Shall the town of Plainfield authorize the expenditures of $120,000 from the fund balance for the payment of building demolition work? Item 4. Shall the town of Plainfield authorize the discontinuance of Williams Avenue, number 1 in Luso? Item 5. Shall the town of Plainfield authorize the sale of property located at 0 Brunswick Ave? Dated at Plainfield, Connecticut, this 26th day of November, 2024. Kevin M. Cunningham, First Selectman. Arthur W. Gagnon, Selectman. Peggy Gorey, Selectman.
Thank you. At this time, I would open the floor for nominations for moderator.
I nominate Kevin Cunningham.
Second. Who was our second? Thank you, Dean. And anybody else wishing to make a nomination for moderator?
Move we close nominations.
Second.
Motion's been made and second to close. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will now moderate the meeting. Let's go into the first item of business. I just wanted to make sure that with all the questions that we have on here, everybody has an opportunity to speak. However, because of the length of the number of people here, if you do want to speak, I would ask you politely to give 2 minutes to each item. I don't want to go into a debate back and forth of the issue. You can come up to the microphone and express your opinion about something, and we move on to the next person. You want to take this one over there? Yes, and I'll clarify that further. Items 1, 2, and 3, because they have to do with money, will require a town referendum on the 12th, if approved. Then the other 2 items, because they do not involve money, they would just go vote for tonight, and that's it.
Thank you.
Okay? So let's go through each item, that way you have an opportunity to speak on each one. Item 1, shall the town of Plainfield authorize the approval of the receipt of DEC SIF grant monies for $250,000 for recreational organization? A brief description of what this is. The state of Connecticut already gave the town of Plainfield $250,000 to use for public meetings and discussion on recreation. The bottom line is that the town attorney stated, as we are receiving monies, the town needs to vote. If you remember a few months ago, we did the same sort of thing with the monies for the Interroyal, for testing soil, for analysis and things like that. We approved it at a town meeting. So we'd have to do the same thing here to take the monies in. Again, if this passes tonight, it would go on to referendum for the 12th of December. Any comments or questions? Okay, item number 2. And again, if there's anybody that needs a packet, there were packets in the back of the room that give all the detail and description of this. Item number 2, shall the town of Plainfield authorize the expenditure of $131,000 from the fund balance to be placed into the contingency line for 2024-25 budget?
Slows.
Again, everything that we have in the packets there should come with that and explain a little bit about that. The town of Plainfield had expended anticipated contingency monies on the multiple union contracts with 2/3 of the fiscal year to be completed. The request is to ask for $131,000 from the fund balance to cover the items needed to complete this year and cover any unanticipated costs. I did put a breakdown in there. We are still in negotiations with the highway union for their contract, anticipated about $20,000 increase. Software and hardware purchase for the new engineer. That's a CAD software, and that's $11,000. Unanticipated miscellaneous costs, on average, we do about $60,000 a year. Town hall dehumidifiers and air scrubbers, we've been using those downstairs. We anticipate to swap those over and purchase them out, but we still have to pay for these that have been used so far. So that's what this $131,000 comes to as a total. So the Board of Selectmen voted for this, Board of Finance voted to approve the request for the monies, and it was required as a town meeting. If you approve, then at that point, it would go to a referendum on December 12th. Any comments or questions? Thank you. Item number 3, shall the town of Plainfield authorize the expenditure of $120,000 from the fund balance for payment of building demolition? The town of Plainfield received information of the unsafe building, acted on them according to the Connecticut statute 117 for notice of imminent danger. For those interested, it does say further down here, 35 Prospect, that all that money went to there. The town of Plainfield is requesting from the general fund to demolish that one property, and with that, because it was unsafe, for anybody that wants to take a look at that packet and see the pictures, I can go through those quickly with you, but the most important one would be the last one, the last picture. You're looking at a picture that shows someone standing on the bottom floor with a camera going up, looking at the second floor windows and third floor windows. That means that there's no floor, that they were actually collapsed and going down into the basement. So it was deemed unsafe and needed to take care of it right away. The bills came in for all of that, and that we were looking for you to approve, coming out of the fund balance, $120,000. Again, if that is approved tonight, it goes to the town for referendum on December 12th. Any comments or questions?
Will that amount cover up the total expenditure
It's a little short. We just a tally of the total, and it was $126,000 for the miscellaneous items that was included. But we should be fine, at least if we get that money back. And by the way, this money, because of that, we were putting it on a tax lien on the property. So we anticipate recovering some of that money from the tax lien. Any other comments or questions? All right. Going into item 4, shall the town of Plainfield authorize the discontinuance of Williams Ave, number 1 in Moosup? The original acceptance of the gravel drive as a road never took into consideration that there resides 8 residential properties. It's actually 10 if we count the corners of them. I think that's how it works. And the narrow gravel drive leads to 2 structures, which are garages, which also impede the ability for the town vehicles to travel through. So we have to go through the process of going to final approval. The Board of Selectmen already voted on it. Discontinuance, it requires a town meeting. I ask that Ryan can give some more background and detail, and he's going to have a little display over here. Someone didn't know how to turn lights off.
Please sign. Oh, there.
Oh. Can you swap that one to the other side and
Yeah,
say,
the other side, let's.
thank
There
you.
you go.
You killed my outlet.
Oh,
Right there. There we go.
that's fine. Let's go warm up again.
Thank you. see that? Is it dark enough?
Yeah, it's coming in now.
So this is Williams Ave, located in the Aldrich section of Moosup.
Try it now. Try your microphone.
All right, how's that?
Yep, just gonna stay close. All right. Okay, sorry for that. This is Williams Ave, located in the Aldrich Village Mill. And over here, you have Talbot Ave, and you have River Street up here. I'm sorry, you have Pond Street up here, River Street over here. Now, Williams Ave was basically a forgotten road. At one point in time, the town did maintain it. It ceased to be maintained many decades ago. Our current highway foreman has been with the town for 30 years, never knew that this was ever a maintained road up until about 2 years ago. So to go through a little history of how this came to be, this is a 1934 aerial. Man Aerospace Mill over here, which was originally the Aldrich Mill, and this is Aldrich Village over here. The red line indicates Williams Ave. So when these duplexes were constructed, the mill owned all the property, so there were no property lines in between the houses. Back in those days, there were no means of transportation to get to work. So you had to live within walking distance, which is why the villages were constructed along with the mill. The workers lived in the housing. So you had the main roads, which in this case is River Street and Talbot and Pond Street. Those are all owned and maintained by the mill. Behind the houses, you had an access way, which is where people would receive their deliveries of coal and ice blocks and probably milk. So it was a cart path going through. As cars came in, it became a driveway, and people parked their cars in little driveways off of Williams Ave. This is common in all mill villages. So the front of the house always faced the main road, with the back having the cart path. Now, in the 1940s, most people had a car, meaning that they could commute to work. So a lot of people purchased houses away from the mill village. That left units empty, and the mills decided to sell off the housing to workers of the mill. At that point in time, they divided up the duplexes onto their own individual lots. The main roads were deeded over to the towns. Now, Williams Ave was never deeded over to the town. When the lots were divided up, they created a right-of-way over the lots. And the right-of-way was 8 feet to either side of the property line, with the property line being right down the center of Williams Ave. So it's supposed to be 16 feet wide. It was narrowed extensively at some point. So right now it's about 8 feet wide. So back in those days, things were pretty informal. For some reason, the town started maintaining it back in probably the 40s. And they plowed it, maintained it. It was just always a gravel drive. In around the 1980s, these two garages, which is where my cursor is, this garage and this garage, were constructed about 4 feet into the right-of-way. And on the other side, over here, you have fences and mature vegetation, so there's trees over there, and the width is 8 feet in this area of these garages.
the trucks cannot fit through there. The town trucks are a little over 8 feet wide, with the plows being 9 feet wide. So they just can't make it through. If we look at the aerial photos, this was the original Williams Ave going down to the intersection of River Street and Sterling Hill. This is 1970 aerial, and now we can see the dogleg that exists today. And down here, you can still see, if you zoomed in, you can still see a little bit of the path, but it was clearly not regularly traveled. And then if we go down to the 1986 aerial, that path going down to River Street is no longer there. So this was the layout as of 1986, and you can see that the two garages were there. I've darkened them up in blue. So I would assume that the town stopped maintaining Williams Ave sometime in the 1980s because it was just too tight for modern trucks to get through, modern plow trucks to get through. A couple of years ago, somebody inquired about the status of Williams Ave, and after a little bit of research, it was determined that at some point the town did start maintaining it, and then stopped, probably in the 1980s. But it was listed as a road at one point in time. So the town took over trying to plow it, although they really can't get through there. So at this point, we are looking to discontinue the road. It was maintained by the owners of the properties that abut Williams Ave for 35, 45 years. The town's simply looking to put it back to that.
Okay, thank you. Could you turn the lights back on, please?
Nice history.
All right, thank you. At this time, if there is a member of the public who wishes to speak and a comment or a question, please do so. If you want to use that microphone, that's fine. I just ask that you share your name so we can continue on. Does anybody wish to speak at this time?
Evening. My name is Carl Moore. I live at 146, 124 River Street. Specific on Williams Avenue. Yes, in the last 2 years, we have asked the town to take care of the road by plowing it. We haven't asked the town to do anything else to it but plow that area. That area back there for us is accessible because of the fact that we park back there. We have trash that goes that's back there that is picked up from everybody that lives in the back. As of last week, when we were talking about this before, it was brought up to a question, why can't you bring your trash bins to the front? Well, if you bring our trash bins to the front, we cut off River Street. There is no access from the back to the front to drag our trash bins out front. There is, you put your trash bins on the street, someone's going to hit them. It's going to cut off the road. The other thing, the last house on Williams Ave, they get their oil delivered in the back. Well, actually, 3 of them actually gets delivered from the back. So the oil trucks have to go back there also, as long as the trash company has to go back to pick up trash. The third thing is, in the front of these houses, I don't know if anybody knows how these mill houses are set up, but the front door, the access to it, if anybody has an emergency, God forbid they do, there's no easy access from the front door to get into anywhere inside the house. Also, you're putting first responders on that River Street, that's putting them in danger because the street is narrow already. By putting them on there, going down, some of the houses, the hills slant. Nobody has a sidewalk, no one has steps in their front yard to go down onto River Street. So this is putting anybody that responds to a call there in danger of slipping, falling, anything else. easy access for first responders are through the back door to the kitchen. The kitchen is wide open, they can move around a lot better, they can maneuver better inside the house, okay? We've only asked for help because I've been living in that area for, I don't know, about 4 years now. Before that, someone that owned the house next to me used to plow. He didn't care. He didn't want money, nothing. He was coming to take care of his tenants. He would plow. He sold the place.
Excuse me,
So
Carl,
now-
if you could wrap it up, 2 minutes is well over.
So now we have to do it, but here we are in the winter months, and this is being brought to us now, not during the summertime, it's in the winter months, now we have to rush to find somebody to clean our driveways. This is the only access we have to Talbot and Pound Street to leave our backyards. So we're just asking for the town to help out by plowing the driveway, that area, for us during the winter time. I mean, I don't know what the big deal is. You can show maps from 1966 and everything else. It was there. It got brought in. So I'm just asking for the town to vote no on this, to help us out, just because of the fact that this is our area. This is what we need to be able to leave our homes. And so,
Thank you, Carl. Could you also make, she wants to make sure you get the last name correct.
Carl Moore. Carl Moore.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak at this point?
Before I speak, are there any residents or anyone this impacts before I speak? I just want to make sure everyone. All right. Samantha Darenthal, I live in Lusa, on Highland Street. Mine is very much, this doesn't impact me, we just heard an impact, but I've been talking to people all week. And I don't think that there's any, I'm not a lawyer, especially a real estate lawyer. I get that the town doesn't own the roads, right? I'm very much a data person and a money person and let's look at the cost benefit analysis here. If it's less than 8 feet and the plows can't get through, do we have any other town roads that are less than 8 feet and the plows can't get through? What do we do when that happens? We don't. Okay. So if we were to plow this road or to pay a special smaller truck to do this, how much is that on average per winter? $1,000? $800? Wait, I think we have to look past. Do we own this yet? No. Okay, so we're not going to do it anymore. That's great. What does maintenance mean? Does it mean, can it be written in that just plowing for emergency services? Because now emergency services are funded by the town, so shouldn't we take into consideration their plans, the safety of our town employees? So the cost benefit analysis here is that we are refusing to make a special situation or even give a tax credit so they can pay someone to do this. Like it's $1,000 on top of, if we look at the overall budget of the town, is a little bit ridiculous when we have many, many people who will be impacted by this, and they're worried for their safety if they were ever to have an accident. So I'm going to vote no until we take a moment to see if there's a compromise that we can come to that's not out of the realm of keeping our public safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Be the time. Okay, hearing none. Thank you.
Jeff Belvance, I'm here representing the Lusa Fire Department, I'm the fire chief. Just a couple things on Williams Ave from a public safety standpoint. I can concur with Carl that for accessibility for us, the power lines do also run on River Street, so when it comes for aerial apparatus to get in there, River Street, we cannot get in. There are some sections, although like Kevin said, it is tight, that would be our primary access to get an aerial ladder in for those duplexes. Many of us know how the duplexes and the mill villages are. He is right. Sometimes if you have somebody on the first floor to make that turn to get somebody out with the stairwell, how they come down can be tricky if they're on a backboard or a stove basket. So from a fire chief standpoint, whether the town maintains it or it gets turned over to the residents, I just want to know going forward whose responsibility is it is. You know, there are garages, people need to park back there, but is it always going to be open for us to get back there? And that's our concern going forward. Would we want to drive our $600,000 fire truck through it right now? No, but we would in an emergency. Just like the garbage truck goes back there, oil truck. So it's just knowing that we can get back there because it is an important access area for the fire department. So just that would be my question for the town, just how to ensure it's going to be open for us.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak at this point? I can give some detail as to what the plan would be, and Ryan, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The discontinuance is basically saying the town will not plow or maintain that pathway?
Correct. The path would stay the same as it is now, it's just the town would have no involvement, just as they haven't had involvement since probably the 1980s.
Okay. So there was a period of time when the town didn't do anything, but the residents may have done something to chip in, or we don't know.
As one gentleman said, one of the neighbors plowed it. It's not unlike other residential driveways where people have to plow the driveways.
Yep. And so what I've done in the past, during this I actually talked to Jeff, I talked to you, I also talked to Will Jess from the ambulance, I also talked to a couple of the oil companies, I also talked to Casella Waste. They're not looking to change anything at this point. All they're looking to do is to be able to access the roadways. So by discontinuance of a road, it doesn't mean that it won't be, it could still be taken care of by the residents. So that's where we stand at this point.
So would there be, who does that piece, who ultimately receives that right of way? Is it each property? Like could somebody put a boulder at the first house and not let the other people, like how is that going to be divvied up so people have access?
Again, these are all individual properties, so that will be up to the individuals who live at that house.
So
I would hope that
get it surveyed and whatnot to determine.
There's deeds that are available that you can probably find out most of the information on. But yeah.
If you look at, you can see the property lines running, and they go right down the center. So in the deeds, you have an easement going over all the properties. Everybody on here has a right to utilize that. You are not allowed to block it off, although it would be a civil suit between the people that utilize Williams Ave to go bring them to court and make sure it stays open. But we could not do anything about that today, even if we continue to maintain it. We are not able to step in and say you can't block off that right of way. And as I said, it used to come all the way down, and then it stopped for some reason. They stopped using it.
So Ryan, that easement's already in place today?
It is. It's on all the deeds.
Anyone else wish to speak at this point?
No, point of information. So if it's currently a town road, that means that these houses have road frontage and they're on a road. So by discontinuing the road, do you then take away road frontage and making them non-conforming lots? And then also planning and zoning allows 2 houses on a shared driveway. So does that then make this a non-conforming driveway so that these are now non-conforming properties?
No, the town does not own the right of way. It's just the town maintained it at one point in time, so we have the obligation to maintain it, even though we stopped for 40 plus years. That is not considered to be road frontage.
So on assessor values, when they're looking at road frontage, that is not counted as road frontage?
No.
So then these would still...
Let me stop you. I don't know what the assessors consider from a zoning perspective. That is not road frontage.
Okay.
The assessor is here if you wanted to ask that question directly.
That's not frontage.
Okay.
This is the easement, this is the frontage, and this is the frontage.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. And then if this is not a town road, why would we have to have a vote to discontinue it as a town road?
As the town maintained it at one point in time and it was listed as a road, that's why we have the obligation to continue maintaining it.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak on this?
46 River Street. My question is, if it was maintained before, why was it stopped being maintained as a road?
As I stated in the presentation, I believe it was probably because the road became too narrow for modern plow trucks to get through.
Okay, but for the last 2 years, the town has maintained to plow through there.
Yeah, I don't know how they did that. I know it was very difficult, and they were worried about damaging the garages and the trucks.
And my question also is, you spoke that you called Casella. I'd like to know who you spoke to in regards to
Sure.
that. And the name of that is?
That would be Mark Morgan.
What's the last name, please?
Morgan, M-O-R-G-A-N.
And you're saying that that is where the property lines go across, that's where it's divided to, even though it was a town road prior to?
It was a maintained road. It was never a town road. The town never owned it. They just maintained it, probably starting from the 1940s. They plowed it. Since that time, it became much more narrow than what it was originally because people encroached on that right-of-way. Now the trucks don't fit.
The town trucks don't fit, but when they get someone that goes to plow with them, that is an outsource of contractor that's gone through there to plow and has a 6-foot plow, they've gone through.
I don't know. I haven't questioned the highway department on that.
Is the highway department here today?
I don't believe so. I know we did speak about that. Ron and I spoke about that. He's the highway supervisor. We talked about the liability issues that we're dealing with.
But it has been proven that a truck has gone through there from the town, whether it was outsourced for contract or the town's vehicle itself, a smaller vehicle has gone through there, 6-foot plow, to plow the road.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? Okay. Number 5 on your packet talks about, shall the town of Plainfield authorize the sale of a property located at 0 Brunswick Ave? So the town of Plainfield was contacted by an attorney on behalf of a property owner that surrounds the land owned by the town located at 0 Brunswick Ave in Moosup. Currently, the town owns the land and it is a former pump station for the town of Plainfield Sewer Department. The pump station was abandoned for use in the late 2000s and was accessed via an easement agreement. That's the only way you can get onto the property. As there is no value to the town of the property, the town owner, the landowner then surrounds the land, locking it into a town land lock, wishes to purchase and dismantle the pump station. Anticipated deeds, updates, and legal costs will be absorbed by the purchaser. The conveyance and release will be a quitclaim deed for $1. The town isn't paying for recording fees, and the buyer will do that. So we had to go through the same process, Board of Selectmen, about selling the site, Board of Finance to approve it, and then we have the real estate to come to a town meeting. That's where we are right now. You'll see in the packet there is a picture of the area. It is 0.11 of an acre. It has on it just that pump station. That's pretty much it. It looks like it is now still somewhat fenced. There's partial fence breakage in there, but we are concerned with safety as well now that we've publicly talked about it, but that's our concern at this point. All right, I have a letter from our sewer department on this issue. Stephanie Baldino, who is the sewer authority. She's the manager for the sewer department. She can give more detail. We have a pump station located on 0 Brunswick Ave that was once installed for the mill. That was on-site operation of the 1970s, and then you can see the map that's attached there. This pump station has been abandoned and offline for at least 20 years. There's no sewer going to this pump station since the mill was abandoned. In the past, we would, on occasion, pump out any rain, inflow, and infiltration coming through the pipes that are still in the ground going to the old mill. Our last monitor at the station failed earlier this year. The pump station was installed in the 1970s and has no major upgrade since. There's no benefit to continuing to maintain this already abandoned pump station. There are currently no plans for any additional buildings to go there, as this was part of the mill, go where the mill was, 57 Brunswick Ave. Even if a property did get built, it is not going to be in the best interest of the town to own and maintain a pump station that is a single private business or to discharging to. If any building were installed nearby that would not be gravity fed to our sewer system main, that they would install their own pumps and maintain them. This is common practice in municipal locations in town. The infrastructure at this pump station is in bad shape, and every year it gets worse and worse. I would like to demo the pump station, including the well, dry well, generator, fencing, and associated piping. There are a few options. The town can sell the land. The cost of the demo is about $7.
Hey, Andy, you shut the mics off on them.
I'll turn it back on. I'm going to turn it back on.
I'm going to sit and talk with him. I'm going to sit and talk with him about that.
Good evening. We have the results for the votes. Question number 1, shall the town of Plainfield authorize and approve the receipt of DEC CIF grant monies for $250,000 for recreational organization? Yes 74, no 4. Item 2, shall the town of Plainfield authorize the expenditure of $131,000 from the fund balance to be placed into the contingencies line for the 2024-25 town budget? 53 yes, 25 no. Item 3, shall the town of Plainfield authorize the expenditure of $120,000 from the fund balance for payment of building demolition work? 58 yes, 20 no. Item 4, shall the town of Plainfield authorize the discontinuance of Williams Ave number 1 in Moosup? 45 yes, 33 no. Item 5, shall the town of Plainfield authorize the sale of property located at 0 Brunswick Ave? 56 yes, 22 no. And that concludes this evening. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Brenda.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. Please be careful tonight driving, and thank you all for coming out. And I want to thank the Registrar of Voters and all those who assisted tonight as well. Thank you.